Please note, this video is for information only, as well as to be taken as only something that is for your intellectual wonderings and ponderings and nothing else. Now, with that having been said, let's get into it. A few months ago, I came across an alarming and eye-opening social media post. The poster stated that, quote, "Why 20 to 39-year-olds are losing their memory faster than anyone else. Something shocking is happening. Young adults under 40 are reporting memory lapses, focus problems, and brain fog at rates experts say they've never seen before. Forgetting names, losing track of tasks, or zoning out isn't just being busy. It's part of a trend that has doubled in just 10 years. No one is completely sure why, but scientists point to stress, endless screens, sleep loss, and modern life pressures. Millions are noticing it, and it's spreading faster than anyone expected. Could this be the hidden cost of today's fast-paced world? One thing is certain. Your brain is sending signals, and ignoring them could be dangerous." End quote. That is also really alarming. So what is really going on? Right off the bat, a large percentage of those adults who are having those issues might just be having them because of poor dieting decisions. So, off the top of my head, how do those sayings go? You are what you eat, and put good in and get good out, right? I think there's a lot of truth to those sayings, but those individuals who are suffering from those types of health concerns might just be consuming way too many artificial ingredients that I've heard are what may be causing people a lot of their health issues, as well as that they might also be consuming too many carbs, which I've also heard that may be causing all sorts of health issues for humans too. And let's not forget about good old sugar, which I've been hearing for a good while now that intaking too much of that stuff might just lead to all kinds of health conditions that you probably don't want either. So I strongly recommend that you start by looking into all those things and becoming highly educated and informed about what those major food and health categories really are first. Start there. That is an excellent place to begin your health journey to your most healthy self, with at least being aware of all the most common health issues in this world and some fundamental or foundational health knowledge about them all. But how about an actual great beginning place for one to find pretty much all that foundational health knowledge at then? Why, how about with Dr. Eric Berg's excellent and highly informed health education YouTube channel? Because he not only knows about a lot of common ailments that the general public faces, but he's very well informed on the root causes of many of those ailments too, like poor nutrition, sedentary lifestyles, and so on. So Dr. Berg stuff, that is, his health education videos, are highly recommended by me for everyone. Now, on to some of these other really heavy-hitting and everyday basic stuff that may just be at the root of all of those cognitive functioning issues that we opened this video up about. And it may just be these things by themselves or along with / in combination with the poor diets and unhealthy lifestyles that some people are living. And these things that I am about to go over are also your really practical everyday things. And though they may not even seem to be health-related at face value, but when you really think about it, though, I guess they really actually are too. Well, so what are they then? Well, let's start by just making a quick analysis of these past 30-some years of ours, shall we? So what has all happened in these past few decades? What's been the biggest cultural events and occurrences? You know, the most seismic and revolutionary ones. The ones that were absolutely and totally quote-unquote game changers, as they say. Well, if you ask me, they've been in chronological order the mainstream takeover of society by the internet, then smartphones, and now artificial intelligence. And what do they all have in common? What is the main thread that runs through all of them? What is the central reality about them all? Or the main thing that they've been impacting the most? Well, I believe it is that all of those massive cultural technological changes have caused us to use and to continue to strengthen our brains less and less every day. Unlike the previous generations who grew up without all of these electronic devices and technological advancements / assistance. Now, with our most recent major and revolutionary mainstream technological takeover, with this artificial intelligence thing, AI has now been doing even more things for us than ever before, even more than what the computers and smartphones were already doing for us for decades, which that was already a lot more than what our ancestors had ever had for centuries. So in light of all that, ask yourself these questions. Who remembers phone numbers and addresses and the directions to those addresses any more like the older generations so often had to? Or how about doing simple math problems all the time at the grocery stores that help to keep people's brains sharper and better, like before everyone had a calculator in their pocket or with them at all times? In high school, I had a physics teacher who, while growing up and before these cell phones and smartphones took over the world, would calculate the final cost of all his groceries in his head as the cashier was scanning them all at that cash register during his checkout. Or how about this huge one? It's one of our most foundational and common societal activities. Can you guess what it is? Yes, I am talking about writing. It's something that virtually everyone does and does daily. And for many years now, millions of people have relied upon and depend upon this relatively new writing autocorrect that our computers and smartphones have been doing for us, which was something that the previous generations, before Gen Z, did not have while growing up at all or for the most part. And most of them did not and could not rely upon said technology for their writing assignments and projects as well while growing up too. But now, because of having such ubiquitous technologies like that spelling autocorrect tech though, that of course has been so widely utilized by us for so many years now, with these younger generations growing up with said tech, I've also, unfortunately, have been hearing for a good while now about how many of them have not been very proficient spellers too, thanks to that widespread utilization and adoption of such a technology by us. Oh, and by the way, the spell checking and autocorrect features of modern tech are two things that I have always actually tried to not rely on or depend on. And I also actually pride myself in memorizing as many long and complicated words as I can too, and not to brag or boast about them to the world. Oh no, but for those wise and obvious cerebrally benefiting reasons. So, but don't get me totally wrong. There have been quite a few positives that have come with all those major and revolutionary technological advances that have been unleashed unto our societies. And they've sometimes been quite the helping relief and convenient assistant in a number of life situations. Like with how many of us have these high-definition smartphone cameras on us at all times and conveniently ready to be pulled out at a moment's notice for us to be able to snap away with. Or how about how many of us having that impressive global positioning system available on us at all times too, something that was absolutely unheard of just 30 years ago. So, but at the same time, I guess it's all also been a lot like some of these pharmaceutical drugs that we hear about from time to time. The commercial usually starts with something like, check out this new and revolutionary drug. It will cure or suppress this particular issue of yours. Hooray! Then usually also, toward the end of that whole thing, they'll show or mention the many undesirable side effects that often come with it all. That sometimes even includes the say what? I mean, with side effects like that, the quote-unquote cure seems to be worse than the illness. But to get back to these possible root causes for all of these alarming memory issues that a lot of people, in the prime of their lives, for crying out loud, have been suffering from, and just really think about that for a second, ladies and gents. That is not something just read really fast and not let it really sink in, because that is simply crazy. Or, to put another way, to really help it to hit home with the weight that it needs to have, we're used to hearing about elderly people suffering from memory issues and cognitive decline. But people in their 20s? My goodness. So if we're using all of these technologies to do all of our thinking and calculating for us, all day long and all the time, well, there's something called atrophy. And in everyday layman terms, it's very much along the lines of that good old, if you don't use it, you lose it. So are our brains getting turned into mush from a lack of everyday and daily quote-unquote exercising for them? As I just showed you all earlier with all of those practical examples of how much less we've been using our brains compared to the previous generations of just a few decades ago, it certainly does seem like it. In conclusion, so we've gone over the two types of major possible causes for that mass cognitive decline that so many people have apparently been experiencing. And of course, the most baffling and mind-boggling part has been that they've been experiencing those things in the prime of their lives and not in the twilight years of their journey. And in turn, we've also gone over the possible root causes of such cognitive issues, with a look at both the possible bodily and cerebral ones. that may have been rooted in the diets that people were consuming, and perhaps the more surprising one for most of you, that possible daily technological assistance utilization that so many people have been engaging with, and perhaps not even knowing that that might have been the root cause of the cognitive struggles and issues that they've been having. Or it may even have been a combination of both. Yikes. But the really important part now is that at least you've now become much more aware of these alarming issues and the possible root causes of them, too. And hopefully, if you have been suffering from these things, perhaps take measures to try to eliminate them or improve upon them as well. So all the best to your health journey, ladies and gents. And until the next time, peace.